Super Bowl 59 week rolls on in America's greatest eating, drinking, dancing, partying, celebrating city, Nolans, NOLA, the capital of all of America's good times. And when you think good times in football, there's only one person we here on Six Rings and Football Things think of. That would be the one and only Gelbmania himself, the host of the Zach Gelb Show, heard every day from 3 to 6 p.m. on the Infinity Sports Network and the Audacy app, which is a fabulous place to listen to the Six Rings and Football Things and WEEI. The one and only Zach Gelb joins us for a little vibe check. What's the haps? What's the buzz? What's going on down in New Orleans this week? Zach Gelb joins your old pal Nick Fitzy Stevens here for the latest Six Rings and Football Things. All right, Zach, listen, you've been to a couple of these before in your day. You've done the interviews. You've talked to the players. You've gone viral. How does this Super Bowl? How does this Super Bowl? Listen, I also saw that you talked to Paige Spiranak the other day as well, too. So
yeah,
I know before you even sunk your teeth into your first po' boy, red beans and rice, or crawfish.
It was something concentrated during that interview. I'll tell you that. Eyes up. And then she made me read her shirt, and I'm like, HR is going to come calling.
Paige, come on. You can't don't do that to me. Don't do me like that. Come on. All right. So what's going on? Just give us a general check-in. What's the scene like? How's the energy? How's the fanticipation heading towards the rematch of the Super Bowl? It seemed like most of America didn't want.
So I think when the Patriots were obviously always here, they were polarizing and they were hated. I know a lot of people have said the Chiefs have become what the Patriots were in the penthouse for 20 years in the NFL, and that's what the Chiefs are trying to be. I feel like this has been a very dead Super Bowl so far in the buildup compared to previous years. I think people have Chiefs fatigue, and there's not a lot of new Chiefs storylines. Sure, you could have the legacy debate with Mahomes and Brady, but that's still going to be written for years to come. And when you take a glance at Kansas City, outside of that, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, it's always a storyline, but it was more of a storyline last year. So the three-peat is obviously a big thing. But from national storylines, I don't think that there's a lot of buzz on this Super Bowl. But ultimately, it matters what happens on Sunday. And I think we're in store for a great game.
Yeah, we may ultimately end up with a game that doesn't measure up to the week, because all I keep reading and all I keep seeing is Kelce and Mahomes and every somebody connected to the Chiefs trying to represent as best as they can, trying not to be full of hubris or arrogance, trying not to talk about, yeah, we know we're the best. It's like, oh no, we're not focused on the three-peat. Yeah, right, sure. And my name is Jerry Springer. Come on. I mean, they know what's at stake. They know what they could possibly achieve. They know what sort of pantheon this would put them in as far as the history of the NFL and the Super Bowl. We do not have a Super Bowl era team that wins 3 games in a row. You have Mahomes saying, if this makes them the villain, that's fine. Kelsey's like, why are you guys paying attention to the refs? Those are like the only storylines it seems like anyone's glomming onto. And we're hearing nothing about Philadelphia. Is anyone saying anything about the Eagles down there that doesn't rhyme with Maquan Farkley?
Yeah, well, Barkley is obviously their biggest player, and that's the national name. But I don't know how much running backs resonate nationally. Like, hey, don't get me wrong. He's having a phenomenal season. He's a top 5 player in the league this year. But a lot of the Eagles storylines, it's okay. Is Jalen Hurts finally going to get his redemption? Is Nick Sirianni going to be viewed as a Super Bowl winning coach? Those aren't big buzz storylines. So I think the biggest thing actually to come from this week is really how pissed off the Chiefs are that people are saying, oh, the referees and them are kind of in cahoots, because that's the most animation I felt from Roger Goodell and also Travis Kelce that obviously has been a big thing. And that's what you get there. Deion Dawkins of the Buffalo Bills saying hello to us as we're doing this interview. College buddy of mine.
I first of all, awesome. You have to follow that up with brag.
Sorry, a name fell out of my pocket. Let me sit back down.
You want don't pick it up. Come on, you're big time, man. I'm doing this from my office/studio up in New England, where it's 23 degrees. You're in beautiful New Orleans.
You want to know who I played blackjack with last night?
I of course, you're on the podcast because I need to know who you played blackjack with last night.
So I went up to dinner with Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden, and as we're leaving, there was someone there.
I had dinner with my son Sawyer and our dog Benny. But okay, go ahead.
James Harrison was also the table over, and he still looks like he could play. The Patriots maybe should sign him up to rush the passer, since we don't have anyone that could really rush the passer anymore. But we're walking out of the restaurant, and there's someone from Caesars there, and they brought us over into a private room. And inside the private room, it's only one other table. It's Jason Kelsey, Kylie Kelsey, and Bo Allen. So that's who I was playing blackjack with last night.
Come on. You're hanging out with Patrick Peterson, who I believe is the host of the Cover 32 or the All 32 pod now on the Audacy. Okay.
With Bryant McFadden, yeah.
With the great Bryant McFadden, former Steelers cornerback, correct?
Yeah, yes, and there was a lot of Patriot crap talking there because B-Mac knows I'm a Patriot fan, and he goes to me, well, you guys are a bunch of cheaters. I go, I'll give you 45 guesses. You can't even define Spygate. And then Pat, when he joined in, because he talked about how tough it was to go up against the Patriots and all the external factors. We brought up the Arizona Cardinal game where I think it was a holding penalty that was bull crap on Gronk, and then Gostkowski missed the field goal. But
2012, yes, that game still pisses me off.
Yes. He goes, I can't believe you remember that. I go, well, there's not a lot of losses I had to deal with in my lifetime, and that one really annoyed me. But when I was walking out and I was sick and tired of this Patriot bashing from them, I go, guys, there's a difference, right, Pat, between you and I. I have 6 rings, you have none. And then I said, B-Mac, the Patriots own you in every game. So we had a good time last night.
That's right. I mean, like, I love Edelman on his podcast recently talked about, like, they never changed the defense. Like, Dick LeBeau did the same thing. And every time Tom Brady was like, I know this defense, I own you. And they shredded them on the regular as well. That game, you know, it's almost like that game drives me nuts. In 2012, not to go down a Patriots memory lane because, well, it is a Patriots podcast.
We don't have a lot of miserable moments, though.
No, we don't have many miserable moments from at least 2000 to 2019. You know, yesterday on our radio show, Ted Johnson pulled from his Rolodex Adam Vinatieri, which was amazing. Later today on Wednesday, we got Laura Malloy on the show. So great memories. And early February is just a complete wash of good vibes and memories for Patriots fans. But I wonder in 2012, this is such a great Patriots tangent, which game was more infuriating? That phantom holding on Gronk and the loss to the Cardinals, or when Luke Kuechly absolutely just mugged Gronk in the end zone and the call went Cam Newton's way? That game drove me nuts.
I think it was the Cardinal one, but I was not happy with the Carolina Panthers. But I don't know if this is kind of a hot take. The most miserable Patriot loss of my lifetime, I think most people would say, oh, it's when they were 18-0 and lost to the Giants with 18-1. I actually thought it was the second Super Bowl because, you know, we got beat. The Pats just got beat in the first one. The second one, I thought we beat ourselves, and that annoys me more still today.
It's so funny you say that because I think of all of them, 42 obviously was devastating, and 46 was like stubbing your toe again on the same spot where you told yourself that you would watch out and not do it again. I still think that the AFC Championship, when they lost in Denver to Peyton Manning, a team they absolutely should have won, when Belichick ran the ball 100 times with Steven Jackson in the season finale in Miami, they blew home field. They lost that game by 2. They would have beaten the Panthers in Super Bowl 50 in the Bay Area. Brady would have played in front of his home crowd. Anyway, all right. This is all about the 5-9 right now and not about us, Gal.
You know what? Just tell me to go bleep myself, all right? my old pal Fitzy, because why are we going down all these terrible losses?
We can't help
We're
it.
Losers
because
now. We're losers.
You know, positivity is back in the air, and I'm sure you have heard as much on the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. All right, so there's not a lot of Eagles chatter. There's not a lot of great, juicy Chiefs storylines. How's the celebrity factor so far? How are the sights and the scenes aside from like a lot of the usual NFL faces?
I know Keegan-Michael Key's coming later in the week. You know, your non-NFL type of names, but there's
I'm sure
Adam
JB
Sandler.
Smoove will be there. All that.
Yeah. There's no like Adam Sandler walking around yet. It's still early in the week. It's a Wednesday. Thursday's now usually the big day. What used to be like the old Friday. So I would imagine that come Thursday, that's when it's really going to pick up. But it's kind of just felt as if, all right, get me to the game. There's been a slow build up to this one. And, I do anticipate it to be a phenomenal game on Sunday.
So Eagles fans are notorious for being difficult people to deal with or root for, yet we find ourselves in Patriots Nation, and I feel like in a lot of America, wanting to see the Eagles win because there seems to be, like you said, Chiefs fatigue. Chiefs fans travel well and they know what's on the line for them, even if all they do is just go to the AFC Championship and go back to the Super Bowl. Um, any sort of like lean so far one way or the other, which fan base has more people, where there's more energy?
I would imagine there's going to be more Eagles fans here. I'm actually the hotel they put us up in. It's connected with the Eagles. I've just seen more Eagles throughout the week. But I would imagine since the Chiefs have been here so much, not that the Eagles, haven't been here, not that many times, but I would imagine there'd be more Eagles fans than Chiefs fans coming up on Sunday.
So I checked your timeline before the interview today, and obviously it was just like I said. I saw the page Spironek won, and thank you for your service, Zach.
Yeah.
As well as like a rotation of other former players and whatnot, and it's just like one product placement after another. Like, let's talk football for 5 minutes, okay? And I hear I hear today you're appearing on behalf of insert name of cholesterol lowering medicine / home goods products / salty food we'll consume on Sunday. What, aside from Paige, what's been the best you've had, and who are you looking forward to talking to this week?
So we have Micah Parsons on today. We have Myles Garrett as well. Micah Parsons always says something when he joins us, and we got Myles Garrett, which is in the news.
To the Patriots. Tell them they need to come to Foxborough, Zach.
Okay, so I could be a shill for the organization, and I would love to see Myles Garrett be a Patriot, but I got to put my objectivity in the way here. If you're requesting out to try to go win a Super Bowl, we're close to doing that these days, Fitzy.
I know, but maybe Vrabel in that quick little cup of coffee he had this past season in Cleveland, maybe he put a bug in the ear of Myles Garrett, like, if I ever go someplace, come with me. I'll help take your star to the next level. We'll get there. Just give me a season or two. Between him and Cooper Kupp, by the way, which of the two would you be more interested in?
I would be more interested in Myles. Kupp is more realistic because it's going to cost you a whole lot less in the trade capital. Like when I was talking to Tom Pelissero yesterday, I go, what's the return for Kupp? Maybe a 3 that turns into a 2. And he goes, I think you're thinking way too much already to start. So
really,
maybe this is going to be a 4th round pick for Cooper Kupp because the money is the big factor, how much money the teams are going to end up taking on.
So I would personally, because number one, that would be one of his best chances to be a number 1 receiver in the NFL. And number 2, he would absolutely teach every other receiver in the room in New England, be they free agency acquisition, prior to, hold on, veteran, draft pick, like how to do it. He's a film monster. He's a clinician when he's healthy. I think just Cooper Kupp. I think like Cooper,
it would work. And also, exciting whites are now a big thing with the Eagles, with Cooper DeJean and also Reed Blankenship. So we are like the destination for exciting whites when it comes for all those guys. We had Amendola, Edelman. You go through the years, Wes Welker. So Cooper Kupp would fall in line right there. But if it's all about pairing up exciting whites together, I think the Chargers may be a better destination. We should have Ladd McConkey, but imagine Ladd McConkey and Cooper Kupp together.
You can't even. You can't mention that name around me. By the way, whenever it used to be Chris Hogan, Amendola, Edelman, and Gronk lining up, I used to call that the Nantucket formation.
Did you know, by the way, that Chris Hogan played
no
lacrosse?
Idea.
By the way, went to the NFL.
Had no idea. No, stunning. Just like it was stunning to see Belichick sign a 5-star recruit to North Carolina last week to play quarterback and lacrosse. Oh, wow. Didn't see that coming a mile away.
Shocker. And he probably loves Wesleyan University as well. I'll tell you this, though, real quickly, Fitzy. If I'm Elliott Wolf, here are the 3 names I need this offseason. Abdul Carter in the draft at 4. Go sign T. Higgins and go get Ronnie Stanley. If I'm wheeling and dealing Elliott Wolf, Zach Gelb's the general manager. Those are the 3 guys.
The Gelb for the new assistant GM of the New England Patriots. You got Drake May at the Pro Bowl. Drake May making all the media rounds. Drake May's recruiting for people, telling them to get up to New England as well. Gelb and Drake live every day, 3 to 6 on Infinity Sports Network. You love to hear it.
They're not like us.
They're not like us. All right, so no juicy storylines, no vibe, no buzz. The Pelisseros or anyone give you any scoops on anything, or are you hearing about any teams that may be super active this offseason or players that could be a surprise trade or cut candidate?
I think the most interesting is, will Rodgers be back with the Jets? And I had Thomas Dimitrov on, who interviewed for the Jet GM job. He didn't get it. He said Woody didn't have any edict, but he said that even though he believes Rodgers could still be really good in this league, he would have traded Aaron Rodgers. He would have made sure that Aaron Rodgers wasn't back. So I thought that was fascinating. But I'm really curious on what the Bills and Lions do this offseason, because both had good years, but with bad endings. Now, what's the move that gets them over the hump? I think both should be in play for Myles Garrett, and both should be in play for Cooper Kupp as well.
I couldn't agree with you more, Gelb. All right, well, this has been super fun. I know you got a bunch of interviews. You got a pre-tape. You got a live show today from 3 to 6 p.m. And if you guys aren't listening to WEEI Afternoons, 2 to 6 every day, of course, check out Zach. 3 to 6 every day on the Infinity Sports Network. And the best way to get that is, of course, either Sirius XM channel 375, I believe, or, of course, the Audacy app. And, Gelb, listen, we can't get together enough personally. It's always great seeing you at the stadium. We're long overdue for a proper meal, and I wish we could have had one this week in New Orleans, but it is what it is. However, we can't get together.
Well, it's always surreal for me to talk to you, by the way, because I am an OG Fitzy fan with the Wicked Pissa podcast and all that stuff. When I was in college, my roommate, who is from Boston, he would always play your stuff. And whenever I go on with you or talk with you, it's like, talking to Beyonce or someone, the way that I would view Beyonce. It's you get big.
Well, listen, when my country album comes out next year, complete with cover of Jolene, maybe we'll be talking more, and I'll bring you as my +1 to the award show. Listen, we can't get together on a day this significant in Patriots history without at least sharing this together.
Now second and goal. 319. Toss to White. He's in. Patriots win the Super Bowl. Brady has his 5th. What a comeback.
It still doesn't seem real, does it? It still doesn't seem real.
It doesn't. And I was at the game, and I was by myself. I got one ticket to the game, and I have never hugged more strangers in my life during that whole moment. It was almost as if everyone was just family. And I remember, I think it was Lady Gaga who was doing halftime of the national anthem, and she came on a string, and I was like, at halftime, let me jump up on that string and just jump off the top of the building. But man, that was awesome. And then obviously all the Super Bowl 49 highlights from the other day, the Dante Hightower tackle, then Bill just ignoring Matt Patricia in that dark moment, and then the Butler did it right at the goal line. So those two Super Bowls, oh, man. I know you never forget your first. The first one was awesome, but really those two were just sensational.
51 is tough to beat, I got to tell you. I was down there working for CBS doing some tailgate coverage at the time, and so I watched at a bar called Diablo Loco where the New England Patriots fan of Houston get together, and it was me and 400 other people, and I have never ridden an emotional swell from the lowest of the lows to the highest of the highs. Like you said, crying, beer in hand, hugging more strangers than ever before. And whatever airborne viruses and pathogens I picked up that night, I survived, and they've only made me stronger to this day, Guy. Once again,
so
folks,
that's how COVID happened all those years later. It was from that night. You were the first spreader of it.
If that was ground zero for it, and I am the super spreader, then that's fine. Just super spread me some Cooper Kupp, would you? Keep the stories coming. Always, you can text me any good interviews you have if you'd like me to share them on the radio show as well. Guys, give him a follow at Zach Gelb, Gelb, and of course, check his show out 3 to 6 every day. Infinity Sports Network, Sirius XM 375, and the Audacy app. Have a great time, buddy. Eat, drink, be merry. Have the most fun Super Bowl week you can, and we'll see you soon, okay?
You got it, Fitzy. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, there goes Zach Gelb, and this is the latest Six Rings and Football Things brought to you by WEEI Audacy and 2400 Sports. We will have more for you as the week progresses. Great interviews from Teddy's Rolodex on the afternoon show. By now, hopefully, you've heard the Adam Vinatieri interview. If you missed it, you can go back to the Six Rings and Football Things feed via Spotify, Apple Pods, the Audacy app, or wherever awesome football talk is found. Lawyer Malloy coming up this week, Romeo Crennel, and so much more. So don't you go anywhere. Stay tuned. We are doing the best to bring you the most interesting interviews for Patriots fans and Super Bowl 59 coverage possible. But you heard it there from Gelb, a dead week in New Orleans. And that is a tough place to not feel the vibes and love, because the Bon Toms are usually rouléing all night long. We'll talk to you soon. Good day, guys.